A number of people have asked me, hey, David, what do you mean by exit optional? I thought when you exited a business or practice, when you sold it, that was done. What do you mean optional? Here's what I mean by that. Two words, exit optional. Now, I combine them together because that's what I think we all should strive for in our lives and our businesses and practices, but we don't think about it that way because that's not the way it's always been done. Not the way I thought about it when I was much younger and was looking at the same thing when I exited many years ago, but I didn't understand what optional meant and how to set that up. So exit is typically thought of as a time-bound, one-time event. It's transactional. It's about how much do I get for selling this asset, which is many times actually an obligation, but it is an asset obligation because it requires us to work in it most of the time, and that's part of the obligation. It's about a multiple, it's about EBITDA, it's about who's the buyer. That's what an exit event is about. It's time-bound. And that time-bound nature creates a lot of urgency, a lot of compression around making decisions. So my point is, we think about some point, someday, it's like, I need to sell. And maybe you do need to sell. Maybe you've waited so long that your health or somebody else's health is on the line. Maybe there's something else, some other issue that's causing you to need to sell. But having to do it in a hard time-bound position, which is the way most people do it, leaves a lot on the table. And it creates a lot of stress that's unnecessary. Now, optional. Optional is a posture. It's positioning. It's not an event. It's positioning. And when you have positioning, you have leverage. Leverage over decision-making, leveraging over time, leverage over just feeling a compression of needing to make something happen. Now, how do you get exit optional? Well, it goes back to what I said a moment ago, is for most small business owners, and that includes most professional practice owners, our practices, while they're a great asset, we're the primary asset. Now, yes, we have to build the team and build the structure and do the marketing and all that goes into that. I'm not saying that's easy. But in that case, that asset of the practice becomes an obligation. And an obligation is what creates the tension, the burnout, the stress, the urgency to sell. If we can create more optionality, and again, there's a spectrum here, a spectrum of optionality in our practice model, then number one, it takes stress off. We don't feel compelled or compressed to have to sell a certain way, a certain day, a certain time frame. All these decisions like, who do I sell to? Do I do a private buyer? Do I sell to a DSO? Do I try to bring on associates or partners? All these questions become very tactical at a time when you need to be more practical about your philosophy about what you really want, you and your spouse, because this is a couple's decision, even though one of you may be the primary owner or technical provider in that practice. It's still a couple's decision. And most couples don't have that conversation. How do I know? Been doing this for many years. I had to work through this myself. I mean, that's how I know how this feels, because I felt the same way some 20 years ago when I did feel compressed and compelled to sell my practice, made mistakes. Now, I'm still here to talk about it. The good news is you can survive it, but why be in a position to have to go through the stress and the strain of not doing it the right way when you have more options on the table? Creating those options come from clarity. You must have clarity before you develop a strategy and then go to the tactics of exactly how it's going to happen. That's what I mean by exit optional.